You may have heard that Elon Musk and NASA want to colonize Mars, but how are they going to do this? As someone who loves space, but to be honest, has very little knowledge of it, I decided to spend a day researching the existing plan for colonizing Mars, and I want you to come with me on the journey. As I'm sure you know, humans need oxygen and water to survive, but Mars doesn't have either of these. There's no flowing water, and Mars's atmosphere is primarily carbon dioxide, not oxygen. So the first question in my mind is, how can we live on a planet that doesn't have oxygen and water? So I jumped into research. You might have already watched this yourself, but last night NASA's Perseverance rover was launched into space. Let's watch it together, and I'm pretty excited about this.
And liftoff. As the countdown to Mars continues, the perseverance of humanity launching the next generation of robotic explorers to the red planet.
Okay, so I always get really quite emotional at stuff like this because this is engineering at its extreme. After watching the video, I headed to the NASA website to read about the Mars Perseverance rover and discovered that it's essentially a robot scientist. Perseverance will be conducting experiments and taking soil samples on Mars. One experiment, called the Mars Oxygen In Situ Resource Utilization Experiment, or MOXIE for short, is testing whether carbon dioxide within Mars's atmosphere can be turned into oxygen. The equipment basically sucks in carbon dioxide and then releases oxygen, rather like a tree does. So this is how they're going to get oxygen on Mars. Pretty amazing. But what about water? Past unmanned missions to Mars go back as far as the 1970s, and they found small quantities of water that exist within Martian soil. And how do we know this? Because there's already been 4 Mars rovers that have landed on Mars before Perseverance. Each of these rovers, which are essentially robots, have been trying to understand more about water within the Martian soil. So another important job of the Perseverance rover, which will be the 5th rover on Mars, is to carry on these investigations. The more information that can be gathered, the more likely engineers can build equipment capable of efficiently extracting water from soil. I thought this was all very cool, and then I discovered something that kind of blew my mind, which had nothing to do with water and was a bit of a tangent, but I found it really exciting. Oh my goodness, okay, this is awesome. I didn't actually realize this. They have a helicopter called the Ingenuity Helicopter, and it's just a test whether a helicopter can actually fly in that sort of atmosphere. How cool is that? There's going to be a helicopter on Mars. This is insane. It's even said here that it's going to be used as scouting for humans that are there. So when the first humans actually arrive on Mars, then they can use a helicopter to fly in front of them and give high definition footage. Because if you think about it, they're going to be alone. They're on a planet, there's nobody else there, and they're going to need all the information that they get. Lunchtime, doing a sandwich, nom nom. I was just making my sandwich and I was thinking about living on Mars and the first people who go there. From like an engineering perspective, I was thinking, well, how are they going to have enough components? Because the people who go to Mars, they're going to be going there for a very long time. They won't be coming back. So how can they take A, enough equipment, and B, enough spare equipment and spare instruments if something breaks? I mean, they need to design all of this equipment to last for a really long time and to be able to even carry everything that they need over there. I mean, it's not like if you just forget your toothbrush or something when you go on holiday. There's so much that you need to think about and so much risk involved with the people who are actually going there. Ooh, clever. So Mars 1 has an actual roadmap of the Mars mission. Aha! Of course, it's almost like they thought about all of this, isn't it? 6 cargo missions will go to Mars before people go there. And this will include a 2nd rover, 2 living units. So they're essentially going to build the living units on Earth first and then take them over. 2 life support units and a supply unit, so electricity or energy. This is insane. So the rover that's already existing on Mars is then going to basically travel and pick up all of the units that have been dropped off, and it's going to like put it in a trailer and then take it to the site. That's so cool. Now I'm thinking Wall-E. So all of these units together are going to be called the Environmental and Control Life Support System. So they're going to connect them up like pods, and then because of the experiments that they've done where they can turn the soil or take the water out of the soil, the rover will then start feeding soil into the life support unit so that water can be created. And once that is all connected up and working, and they've got the thin film solar panels working, and they've got water being produced, and all of the living units are there, this is when people can start going to Mars. Okay, so I think this to me is something that's really quite exciting. I'm literally going to read this out. The ECLS will have produced a breathable atmosphere, 3,000 litres of water and 240 kilograms of oxygen, which can then be stored for later use. This is just mind-blowing. Can you imagine like working on this? The thing that blows my mind in colonizing Mars is that it all comes down to a robot building and creating livable environments for humans. So in my view, the engineers responsible for designing and constructing this robot are absolute rock stars. So to me, all of this feels very sci-fi. And when I was doing my research, I was thinking, well, surely this is quite a long way away. But then I read that Elon Musk is aiming to get people on Mars in 2025, and they're going to be sending new crews every 2 years. So that means there's going to be people on Mars in the next 5 years, potentially. Now, I'm not really sure whether I would actually want to go though, because we're still a long way off commercial travel. So I kind of want to know, would you want to go to Mars right now if you could? Let me know in the comments below. Also, if you like engineering, then think about subscribing because I would love to have you here. And with that, I will say goodbye and see you next time.